You're raised as an athlete to fight back. So why all of a sudden when you retire do you stop the good fight?
This is Finding Center with Nick Hardwick.
Yes. And if you don't have those, you're not going to win a championship. If you don't have ability and trust and all of that, you're going to win. If you don't have in New England office and the head coach, he is the front office. Like the people in the front office, if you're working together, you're not going to win. Whereas like Bill, he didn't care. Like he cut, I don't know how many second and third round guys in year 2 because he's like, you suck. Like and the thing is, he's not afraid to say he messed up. He's like, yeah, I really screwed that one up.
Hey guys, it's Nick. Hope everyone out there is doing well today. Thank you so much for the time that you've been given the Finding Center podcast. We hope to be giving you some critical information and perhaps inspiration to use on your journey towards health. If you have any recommendations at all or topics or people that you would like us to cover or interview, please DM me at Nick Hardwick or at Finding Center Podcast, and I will do my best to get back to you. Any questions as well. I love hearing from you guys. You know, as far as health goes, here's a game I like to play. I like to think about my life in reverse. When I'm in my 80s, 90s, and even into my hundreds, that's right, I said it. I'd love to be 100 years old, but only if I can do it with health. I want to be able to look back and know that I did everything possible to stave off neurocognitive decline. I want no regrets. As Dr. David Haase said on one episode, the difference between being old and being an elder is retaining your wisdom. If we allow ourselves to slip physically, mentally, we are going to struggle as well. And with mental decline, we lose the essence of the person and all of that accumulated wisdom. What a shame. Dr. David Haase says we should rage against that. I totally agree. If you're new here, the Hardwick family, we've announced a new supplement line with our name on it. It's called Hardwick.life. It's like Hardwick.com, but instead of .com, it's .life. My family has been taking these exact pharmaceutical-grade supplements for several years now. We love what they have provided us. Our philosophy is to do everything within our power today to ensure that we're giving ourselves the best chance possible of living a fulfilling life. Hardwick.life is centered around taking care of the fundamentals of health through an active lifestyle, getting proper nutrition and supplementation to boost our immunity and protection for the areas in our lives that need special attention. My goal is to restore brain health for a lifetime of running into other giant humans over 30,000 times. That's right, 30,000 head hits. That, as well as looking after my heart, which also I'm sure came under some damage being big and then getting small. And I also have a family history of heart disease. Those are vital for me. Jamie's concern is her immunity and her gut health. That's why she loves the Foundation Life and Gut Life. Whatever areas of need or concern you have, Hardwick.life has you covered. Be sure to subscribe for 15% off and free shipping. When you do that, you're going to also get access to our simple, family-friendly recipes to help get you started or keep you on track with your health journey. We are Hardwick.life, foundational elements for a fulfilled life. Check us out. Also, guys, you know this. If you follow my stories on Instagram at Nick Hardwick, then you already know I post almost every meal that I eat. I do it to show that health and maintaining a fit and active body and lifestyle, it's no trick, guys. It's consistency, consistently making good choices. One thing I've put into my body consistently since the company was founded in 2017 is BUBS Naturals collagen protein and MCT oil powder. One way or another, I have used BUBS religiously, daily. I swear by it. These days, since talking to Doc Amon, I have cut out coffee, but I still put the BUBS in a protein hot chocolate that has been giving me my morning fix. I love it. It makes it creamier. You're going to love it too. As I know lots of you have taken me up on the recommendation. Jamie swears by it. She has it multiple times every single day. No other collagen brand can claim to be 100% NSF certified and donate 10% to charity. That is awesome. If you're in the San Diego area, BUBS products are now available at all Barron's markets. Stop in and pick some up today and see how conveniently health can fit into your life. If you don't have a Barron's near you or don't want to go to the store right now, I get it. Order it online at bubsnaturals.com. That's bubsnaturals.com. Use the code Hardwick20 for 20% off that order at bubsnaturals.com. All right, guys, welcome in. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Joining us today on the Lessons from Legends segment of the Finding Center podcast is a former teammate of mine, one of my favorite, former running back, Danny Woodhead. He played college ball at Chadron State, signed by the Jets as an undrafted free agent in 2008, played for the Patriots, the Chargers, and the Ravens in his 10-year career. Woodhead set several NCAA college football rushing records, including the single-season record and the all-time rushing record. In 2006 and 07, he won the Harlan Hill Trophy, awarded the best player in the NCAA Division II, making him the third player ever to win the trophy twice in its history. That's like the Heisman Trophy of D2. Pretty awesome stuff. In 2007, Dana became the NCAA all-time, all-division leading rusher. I didn't even know this about you when I was your teammate. Following that illustrious collegiate career, Danny was picked up by the Jets as an undrafted free agent. We're going to talk about that. He went on to play 10 years, accumulated 15 rushing touchdowns, 17 receiving touchdowns, made a Super Bowl appearance with the Pats in 2011. And currently, Danny hosts his own podcast with Matt Slauson called Out of Nowhere, and is a partner in his company, Performance Mountain. We'll talk more about that. Be sure to give that podcast a listen, Out of Nowhere, and throw Danny a follow on Instagram at TeamWoody39. Danny Woodhead, what's up, brother?
How we doing, man? Hey, by the way, the reason you didn't know any of that is because I always couldn't stand college football players coming in and being like, oh, yeah, well, I did this at Bama. Well, guess what, bro? I don't care about Bama. So, like, I've never talked about – sometimes people would ask, like, oh, yeah, whatever. Yeah. You know, it was fun. I did okay when I was there, and now I'm here.
Exactly. That's right. It's like now you're here. None of that matters. But looking back, it's kind of fun to go, whoa, damn. This dude was amazing.
Bro, I will say this.
We're amazing.
I will say this. Looking back, like when you're reading that, and it's happened a couple times being on different shows, and I'm like, man, I was actually pretty decent at football, right? like it was one of those things where I'm like, that's pretty neat. I remember someone said, hey, when did you think you could play in the NFL, or when did you think you had the abilities? Well, I'll tell you when I really thought like that it was maybe possible was my junior year. Me and my buddy were kind of laying around the dorms back in the day. But we're just walking, and dude, it was kind of crazy, but like it's almost like you're playing NCAA football on like video games just as yourself. Because I was like over 200 and some yards a game, and I was like, oh yeah, maybe that'll get noticed. And fortunately, I was able to get somewhat noticed.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? So it's a really unique story. So the podcast name is called Out of Nowhere. It's not like you came out of nowhere, but coming out of a D2 school, Chadron State. I mean, you set all those all-time marks, but like in high school, you were a freak show. You were in a 10-500. Yeah, I mean, there was like you were a top-notch basketball player. I think I read a stat like you had 46 points in a game. Like you were a top-notch soccer player. Just some freaky things. And you set some all-time marks in Nebraska. I don't know if you were overlooked by the bigger schools or not, but you end up at D2 on their first full athletic scholarship at Chadron State. And then you win the Heisman for D2 multiple times. Then you run a 4.33 40 at the pro day. Like 4.33, and you still go undrafted. You weren't even invited to the combine. Like, how did you take me through the journey there? Like, were you overlooked? Were you underrated? What was it?
Let's start at high school, because my sophomore year, we ended up making to the state runner-up. The starting running back had an offer from Nebraska and ended up going there. So I actually played slot and wingback. He ends up getting hurt, so I have to play the last 5 ever running back and end up blowing up, kind of. I ended up having over 1,000 yards. And people
In
are like,
5
oh, this
games.
guy's – yeah, well, it might have been 6, but whatever.
Okay.
It was 5 that I
Details.
started, I think. I think 5 that I started, and I probably had a couple hundred as a wingback too. But I ended up going over 1,000. And so I ended up being all Nebraska as a sophomore and then all Nebraska as a junior, senior, and set some records. And I will say something, I didn't help myself because I played basketball. So when there's all these Nike things, and so the Army All-American game, well, they have a combine for juniors. Well, I said, I'm not going. I'm not going to miss a basketball game because they invited me.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, what type of leader would I have been as the leader of the basketball team? Because I was kind of the guy in basketball. I would have been a terrible leader, I felt, by skipping a game to go do something, hugely self-serving. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So that part was my fault. But I think a lot of it too is, I mean, if you look at me, people probably would understand why. I mean, I was a 5'8", 185-pound running back. Now, people are like, oh, you were 185? Yeah, but people didn't want to think I was. Even when I was in the league and I was 5'8", 205, people were like, man, you're so small. And then I'd be next to another running back that plays in the league and he's 5'7", 185, and they say he's bigger than me. And I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. So I think there's something that I just looked like, man, that dude, his face is really baby faced. Let's act like he's 111 pounds and we're not going to offer him. And so I end up getting – I did have D1 AAs recruiting me, but no D1s, which was kind of odd. Not that this matters. I care less. But usually, the Mr. Football or Gatorade Player of the Year state, they're going to get an offer somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. And that's okay. It ended up turning out totally fine. That was kind of my journey, where God kind of just led me was Chadron State. And he obviously had plans for me to somewhat big things there. And honestly, I thought I would be a shoo-in for getting a chance at the combine because at the NCAA record. So you're like, it's not just Division II, all NCAA. They're going to at least invite me, right? Well, no, they didn't. So then I'm like, all right, I got to do a pro day. Well, how many people are going to come to Chadron? 3 maybe? Well, luckily, I knew Tom Osborne, and he was the athletic director at Nebraska. Well, they don't let people in to do their pro days. He made an exception, and I ended up coming down. And now I don't think this is what it is, but there have been people saying yeah, they don't let people in anymore ever since you. And I'm like, oh, is that like what? And they're like, well, because you had a better pro day than all the other guys. And I was like, kind of made me feel good. I was like, thanks. But then I run, I run pretty fast and I jumped pretty high and did some good things testing wise. So I'm like, I'm getting drafted, right? And it's like, no, we actually hate you still. I think everyone that was the back of their mind. They're like, let's make sure he doesn't get an offer. All these scouts had a plan, and they're like, hey, Division I coaches, don't offer him. We just don't want him to get a scholarship. And then we're not going to offer him an invite to the combine. And then it's like, I have a good pro day, and it's like, something's got to happen for me positive, right? Well, nothing did in the draft. And fortunately, I get the opportunity to sign with New York. But, bro, there were only them, and I think Jacksonville was a maybe on signing me as an undrafted free agent. I had no chances.
I have to imagine if then we're now in the era of social media, you would have blown up after having run a 4.33. And even in going back to high school, it's there would have been a big stink raised about this little dude in Nebraska just going off on people. I have to imagine it would have been slightly different.
Yeah, I would think so. The thing that was weird though is I had always been pretty fast. Mm-hmm. When I went to the Nebraska camps in the summer, now this is how I felt. You would feel the same way, I'm sure. But Like, I felt like at those camps, I was the best player. My teams always went to, they had like a football, like 7-on-7 or whatever. Our team was always in the championship. So it's like, yeah, I'm going to get a scholarship offer because I ended up kind of dominating this camp. And I was like in the top 5 for all, like, they test you on different things. So I'm like, I'm getting an offer, right? And they called me up as I'm on my way to Chadron State for a camp. And they said, hey, you know, we really liked you, but we're actually just gonna, we want our running backs to be 6'3", 230. And I was like, what? Like, and they said, you know, maybe you could walk on as a punt returner. But that was it. And I was like, I basically hung up and said, like, there was no chance I was going there. Oh, by the way, my freshman year at
it's like
Chadron
a backhanded
State,
compliment.
bro,
Like,
exactly.
We really like what you did, but you could be our
You-
punt returner.
You had a really great camp, but you might be able to walk on to be our 13th string punt returner. And it was like, I was like, really? And for a kid in Nebraska football's big time. You're like,
Oh,
I'm
it's
going to do
everything.
this. Yeah. You're like, this is going to be amazing. And ever since then, I was like, no. Like, they didn't even offer me to – they didn't end up offering me to walk on. But the funny thing is, my freshman year – so I kept tabs on them. I mean, any person that – not that I'm holding a grudge because I really am not anymore. But, like, that first year, you are sizing up. Well, they're running back too. And they had a pretty good running back. It was 5'6", 2. And they told they wanted a 6'3", 230. So I was kind of like, this just doesn't add up, right?
How big did you say he was? 5'6" what?
I think he was 205 maybe.
Okay. Wow, monster.
Yeah, so I ended up being 5'8", 200, just not big. It was odd. It was super odd. I think what they were really thinking is they had a lot of plays in the playbook that throw fades to their running back.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
that's why you need a guy like that. Yeah.
That's a big thing nowadays. Still, like, when they told me, bro, and they were like, everyone was like, well, your size. And I want to be like, well, have you ever played football? You know, like, even like is in the NFL, like, man, but he's really little. Like, I'm 5'8", 2. This guy's 6'2", 205. I'm actually thicker than him.
Yeah. Yeah,
like,
my size makes more sense. Like,
it makes way more sense.
Look at Christian McCaffrey. Look at Darren Sproles' career. Like,
oh my gosh. Right? Like,
I mean, really,
you think it now? Derrick Henry's not the norm. Like, no. He's a tall guy. He's first of all,
Eddie George.
I would not want that anyways because you're just so exposed.
Oh my goodness, the shots you can take.
Look at LT. He wasn't tall.
No, he's pretty small.
Yeah. He was like 5'10", 5'7". He wasn't tall.
And he wasn't that big. He played at about 215. Yeah, but small's actually better. You hide behind the line.
If so many people would always say, man, like, about your size, I go, if someone could, like, give me an inch or two to be 5'9", 5'10", I said I wouldn't take it. Because, like, why would I want all? I can hide behind you guys.
Yeah, that's a great point. I guess it's only for the books and for the coaches calling, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, take me through the journey to finally get solidified on a roster, because you get picked up by the Jets, but you get hurt. Take me through all that.
I get hurt. I thought I was going to be done. I even told my wife. I called her up, said, I'm done because it's training camp. I go, I'm not going to play anymore. They're not going to. I go, first of all, I'm a white running back.
What was the injury?
I'm a white ACL.
Oh,
so I go, I'm a white running back. I'm a white running back that's undrafted, who's small. They're going to probably just give me my IR and yada, 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 don't train here. Well, as I'm back I'm in the patient room or whatever, wherever the heck they take you. I can't even remember. Yeah. They were, I really, this is crazy, but I really felt like I'm a faith-based person. A lot of people know that. And I felt like God was, you're going to play. And I kind of, didn't look back, but in my mind, I was looking back saying, dude, you obviously know nothing about the NFL, right? Like, I know you created the earth, but like, I don't think you know anything about the NFL. And it was basically like, it was a calming to me saying, no, you're going to play. You do your job. I'll do my job. Like, you work hard, take care of that, and everything's going to play out. And I was like, well, you're crazy, but I'll do it. It was one of those things. I was like, you're crazy, but I'm going to do it. So I worked my tail off and I tried to be the most positive I could ever be within the training room. And I wanted my personality, my attitude ever just to be seen by others. And hopefully, you know what, at the worst, if this is my last year, at least I'm going to affect some people in a positive way. And so I'm like, I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to do everything I can. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. Well, I end up recovering really good and probably be maybe stronger, maybe faster when I came back. End up having a huge preseason and end up making the team, but then getting cut. Cause it's like, why not? Let's do that. Let's hide them. Right. So I end up coming back in practice squad for 4 or 5 weeks. Well, in week 2 or 3, I was Wes Welker for the Patriots on the scout team and ended up just doing very well. I didn't feel like anyone could cover me, and that's kind of what ended up happening. And I was confident in it. Well, as we're going on, I'm like, I'm going to do some more receiver. As a couple other guys during the week, and I just fill in, wasn't playing running back on the practice, on the scout team, and end up, I was doing very well. Well, we get to week 5 or something, and my running backs coach calls me and says, hey, because I took pride in knowing the offense, I felt like, hey, can you play receiver? And I said, well, first of all, if I couldn't, I was going to say yes anyways. Like, I don't know anybody. Like, oh, of course. Yeah. The easiest thing in the world. Yeah, I can play. You want me to play defensive back? So I said, yeah, I think I can do it, because we had a couple receivers down, and they're like, we'll just elevate. So I got elevated as a wide receiver and ended up playing the rest of the year. Leon Washington got hurt, so I did some running back. It was like every once in a while they'd give me a sip of coffee, like, that'd be right. You're a charity case. So they'd put me out once in a while. But I played some special teams and we ended up making to the AFC Championship. Sorry, we beat you guys that year. That was the year we came out to
2009.
You guys were really good, but we just caught fire at the right time. And then the next year they ended up drafting Joe McKnight in like the 3rd or 4th round. So I'm like, great, that's cool, right? They brought LT in. So it's like, oh yeah, let's make sure I'm not here. Well, I ended up having a crazy good offseason again. And in my head, I was thinking just the whole time, I was like, I'm going to do whatever I can to make this team. But more importantly, I'm going to do whatever I can to make the general manager and head coach a moron if they cut me. That was my thought process. I was like, I'm going to make them look stupid. And, well, I end up making the team for a week, and then they release me because they need to bring a wide receiver up. And they told me, you're our number 3. Even on the street, you're our number 3 running back. They keep the draft pick at the time. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I didn't say that. I go, okay. And then the coaches, which I'm not going to name names because I just don't want to. But there was a coach that I talked to before, and before I left, I said, thanks for the opportunity. He goes, Danny, I'm really proud of you. And it was really cool that, you could live your dream out, like saying like, you're done. And I was like, oh my gosh, is he really using these words? Like, and he basically said, you're a terrible football player. This is such a neat thing that they let you on the team. And I was like, okay. I'm trying to breathe deep and then go up and talk to someone in the front office. We're still naming names because I'm just not going to do that. And they're like, it was really fun. Almost the same deal, but like, and who knows? Maybe you'll be back here. And I'm like, oh gosh, Nick, I'm like, what is happening? Like, I was so angry because they released after the first game. And I go, okay, well, that next Friday I signed with the New England Patriots, or the next Saturday, or that Saturday I signed with the New England Patriots. And I'm like, okay, well, who do we play? We play the Jets.
Nice.
So I'm like, so that's awesome, but I'm not playing that week. And I'm like, are they just having me in just so I can tell them code words and stuff? But I'm like, I don't care because that's a check. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get another check. So we get out there. Thankfully, they had already left for the game because it was at New York. And, I mean, not the way you want to end up playing, but Kevin Falk ends up tearing his ACL that week. So next week, I come in and Bill, with his shorts cut off, one down to his knee, one middle of his thigh, barefoot. I walk in, it's the day after we got beat by the Jets, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. And I get in there, and, like, we're making he's like, hey, how you doing? Good. I'm doing good. Thanks for the opportunity. He goes, yeah. I'm not sure how Kevin's going to be. We'll see. Maybe you'll get an opportunity, sooner than we thought. Did some good things in preseason. Saw some film on you, and yeah, we're excited to see what you can do. And so we'll see what you can do at practice. I go, all right. Thanks for the opportunity. And it's like, when's this conversation going to end? I was like, I don't know what to do. You're the best coach ever, and I feel awkward. You're barefoot. I have shoes on. Do I need to take my shoes off? What do I do? And I was just like, weird, but like, I don't want to say so stupid, leave, and then get released.
Right.
Well, I end up having a great week of practice, end up being the 2-minute back, end up scoring my first touchdown in my career. And I'm like, that was awesome. What just happened? Like, this just went crazy. I'm so glad I had a touchdown, but I'm not going to get an apartment yet because I know what happens here in New England. People get fired left and right. So I end up the next week on Monday night, I end up beating Carlos Dansby, who was a pretty good linebacker at the time when he was for the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I scored a touchdown. Bro, I get home and I'm like, we're getting an apartment. I think those 2 touchdowns, I think that's keep me around this year at least.
Time to splurge, babe.
Yeah, so we that's kind of how it's happened. And fortunately, I was able to play against the Jets that year again and have an opportunity to do well. I probably glared at people that said those things during the game. But I think
How'd you play that game? How'd you play?
I had over 100 yards receiving. It went well.
Nice,
I mean,
really well.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's
was
awesome.
It was fun, but I mean, that's and bro, that year, so year 3, that's when I felt like I finally had a coach, and not even Bill. I mean, obviously Bill, but Bill O'Brien, the O coordinator there, I finally felt like I had a coach that appreciated my talents and like this kid's good. I don't even care if he's 5'8", 200. Like, he's actually just good. And
it seems like one of the huge differences between them and other teams is other teams just can't get out of their protocols and their guys that they have and the body type and the style. It's like, we've got this athlete, we'll figure out a way to use him. And you just go out and we're going to put that athlete in his best position to have success on that play.
Right. And the funny thing is, and all my former teammates, teammates that I've played with, a lot of guys have been like, so what is it? It's just like the system's incredible. And I'm like, there's no system there. Like, our offense changed out of the 3 years I was there. Our offense was never the same.
Wow.
Like, I mean, the players were the same names, but I'm saying, like, 1 year we're strictly 12 personnel. 1 year we were strictly 11. And then in the other year we like mixed it up with a whole bunch of different stuff. So like, it was completely different, like worlds apart, because what they do there, which I think the best coaches do, is they adapt to their players. They don't make their players adapt to them.
Yeah.
And I think that's the tough thing right now with the NFL, college, whatever it is. It's like, well, we're going to have – I know he's really really good. But we're going to have him do this that he's kind of good at. Whoa. That's dumb. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Oh, Nick, you're really good at blocking like this. I know it sounds crazy, but we're going to have you do this instead. I know that's not what you're best at and what you're the best player possible at. We're just going to have you be 75% of yourself. And that's what New England does great is they're like, no, this guy's a really good football player. Let's let him do what he's a really good football player at. Let's not try to make that'd be like saying, Tom, you're freaking nuts at being like a distributor. We're thinking about running the read option this year. I know it's not what you do. And I know you wear combat boots for your football shoes.
Oh my God, does he ever? Just cinder blocks.
They're terrible, but it's
they're like old school offensive line shoes. I don't even know where he found. Where did he even find them?
Well, Under Armour, what they did is they actually they're just military boots and they just slap on the Under Armour badge.
Really?
Bro, they're terrible. They're the worst. But like that's the thing.
So clunky, so heavy. They look like the super thick bottom and then the foam on the sides. It's like, could you have a clunkier shoe for the most unathletic quarterback in the league?
It's the dumbest shoe I've ever seen in my life. But
his ankles are safe.
And they don't make him run the read option like some quarterback coaches might. And that's what they do great and what I believe other people don't do great.
An interruption once again. So while you're waiting this out at home with us, you can still have some fun betting online. Check out my friends at betonline.com. How long do you want to bet this COVID-19 quarantine lasts? I don't know, a month, 45 days, 60 days. What are we looking at? I know no March Madness or any of your leagues, but betonline.com still has hundreds of places to wager their online casino with poker and blackjack, and sports aren't totally done. There's still mixed martial arts, American Idol, the elections, the spelling bee, Nathan's hot dog eating contest. There's still fun to be had, so go to betonline.com. Use the promo code MyPod100. That's MyPod, P-O-D, 100 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's right. For our listeners, 50% off with the promo code MyPod100. BetOnline.com. The fun never ends.
You know, one of the other things that I think I've perceived from the outside, just watching press conferences and talking to guys like you who've been there before and the teams that I've been on, I think one of the big differences would be how you handle wins and how you handle losses. Like we've played for coaches before who after wins would just be riding the high and would be up at the press conference and feeling good and kind of, looking around and they got the swag about them. But then after a loss, it's like a verbal beatdown of the players and they're going to come in, they're going to emotionally kick your teeth in when you may need to be uplifted more than anything. And then when you're winning, you may need to be kicked in the teeth a little bit to be kept in alignment. So you can stay the course and continue to improve rather than just flatlining after a win. And from the outside, for me, it looks like that's what the Pats do is after a win, they're hard on you. And after a loss, they're kind of gentle with you.
Bro, I can't remember if it was the Jets or someone, but we blew them out. And we're like, yes, we're like, tomorrow's not going to be that bad.
See you Wednesday.
Bro, it was terrible. And we're like, Bill, did you watch the film? Like we won 45-3. Like, and it was like world ending. There was a year, it would have been my last, I don't know if we were like 11-2, 11-3 at something like we're playing, getting ready to play maybe the Niners on Monday night or something. And Bill brings up 2-3. Something like that, where Tom threw picks. And he's like is that going to help us in this game? Or are we supposed to throw to the other team? And it's like, no, sir, not. I mean, he didn't, but like that's what we all felt. And he brings up a fumble from freak show J.J. Watt, who ran down a screen pass, and I ended up fumbling. We ended up scoring on it because we recovered it. But it was probably one of the best runs I've had in my career. Ended up getting, I mean, J.J. Watt's a freak show. That's not my fault. And he stripped me. It was like the perfect punch. And it's like, he's like, we scored, but like, are we supposed to hang on to the ball? It's like, yeah, Bill, I know we are. I know we're supposed to hang on to the ball. But yeah, he does keep you. And I think he understands what he's supposed to do when, because obviously he is who he is, coach.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a pretty amazing thing. I think playing 3 years then and playing on 3 other teams, it's given me such an understanding of what I think, not that I'm always right, but what I believe is right and wrong way to run an organization or a business or whatever I need. It makes me understand more what I would do. Would I do it like Bill? No, not at all. That's not me.
It's not you.
Would I take a lot of his stuff and implement it within my personality? Yes, because it works. It's just on being accountable, making sure everyone knows what to do in every situation. Would I probably bring a little bit more of loving the other person than he does? Probably, but the way they do things is correct and it's proven.
Yes. So that's the coaching side of things. From a teammate standpoint, after episode 7 of the Jordan documentary, I don't know, I think you're watching this one, right?
Oh, I am.
When he was asked at the end of about his methodology to get the most out of his teammates, and did it hurt the perception of him not being a nice guy? I got asked on the radio if I had ever been around a guy that demanding and pushing and persistent. I hadn't. I thought it was a great question, but no, I hadn't. And I always thought if I ever played with a teammate that demanding, then maybe I would have won a championship. But it's not a slight to anybody.
Right.
But I think those guys are so rare. And coaches can push you, but it's so much different when it's a teammate that is driving the ship there on the leadership. And we had great leaders on our teams, but I don't think we had that. So I figured I'd pass the question on to you, and I may have a guy in mind that you could answer with. I don't know, but have you ever played with a teammate that was that fierce, that was that competitive, that was willing to say, you may not like me, but this is, like you said, this is what's right?
I would say Tom was very close, but he was more when it's off the field. He would, I don't want to say love on you, but he like, you knew he cared about you. You knew he wasn't like trying to like eat your flesh, you know what I'm saying? But
wait, so you're saying he's a vampire?
But I will say this, and Tom gave me and this helped my career more than anything. And maybe in the same way Jordan acted, but I was like, Tom, like they're man to man, and this route for me just to run a sit route. Like why can't I break out or whatever? And he looks at me and he goes, Woody, you're not open, no good to me. And I was like, okay. But it says he's like, you're not getting the ball if you're not open. So I said, okay, I'm gonna make sure I get open. And that was kind of light in my head. And if you ask Philip ever, ask anyone else, like that's why even my San Diego days I'm a little bit more street ball. I was just like, I'm going to get open. I don't really care how it is, because guess what? Tom Brady told me I better get open. Otherwise he's not throwing me the football. And that's what I think how Philip and I gelled so well together is we were just like, I don't know how many times I still remember in our playoff game against Cincinnati, we had a third down. We're staying on the sidelines. So it'd be, if we were staying on the sidelines, we were going left. We had a big third down conversion, and it was late, like in the middle of the cadence. he yells to me, run a sneak. Well, a sneak's across the formation. I was supposed to go to the sideline. He went across the formation. And because we both had that, like, we just want to get open and make a play.
Yeah.
I heard him say it, and I'm like, whatever. I'm on it, and I'm going to get open. Well, we end up picking up a huge down conversion because of that. Because we were both kind of the lighted people. It was like, let's ball it. It's just we got to get the yards, because if I run that stupid route over to the right and I am 2 yards short, well, it doesn't matter then. So maybe we can just freestyle it and get the first down, as long as it's within the system. And that's what I think, that's what Tom started in me, I would say. And then kind of helped me flourish in San Diego with Philip.
Who's your favorite teammate you ever played with? Not me.
Not you. There are a lot. I would say there's probably that this is our crew. And I loved New England. I loved it. I mean, like, it was a great experience, but I'd probably have to say Phil and Weddle, because we all had such similar, like, mindsets, and we all didn't really care. We did care, and we took coaching very well. If it's on Sunday and we have to do something, we're going to do it because we care about winning way more than that. We also, like, we weren't jerks. Like, I would like to think most of our teammates probably enjoyed being around us.
Oh yeah, I would imagine so.
But we also weren't that concerned if we ruffled a little feathers. Like, like, in order to be good. Like, we weren't like Jordan, but I'm just saying, like, we were going to do it our way. And the thing that's great with Jordan too is he did it, but Phil Jackson was also making those guys toe the line too.
Huge,
like,
yes.
look at
he
Tom.
got reinforced. Like, everything he did got reinforced. Yeah.
So Tom was great, but if he didn't have Bill, like, Tom didn't have to take care of all this junk on the side. He didn't have to take care of an offensive line. He didn't have to take care of receivers. Because those coaches were doing what Tom was doing, Yes. Whereas, in some of our days, and I love a lot of people that we put, but, like, I don't know if everyone was that mindset, like you, myself, Weddle, Clary, Phil. I don't think everyone was that mindset, and even, like, maybe some of the coaches too. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
But that's why I loved you guys, is because you, obviously, because we can't say you, but is because we all had we were very like-minded. We all loved ball, and we all loved to be thorough with our approach.
Yeah.
Like, we love to be prepared.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, right? When you think about it and you look back at the career, it's like, it has to go both ways. You have to have the coaching staff who's willing to discipline when the time is necessary, who has the intelligence to make the adjustments, who's got the program in place. And then you have to have the players who are leaders, who are holding other guys accountable. But then you have to have the coaching staff who's willing to do the same thing back. And that's why it's such a beautiful team sport, right? Is if you don't have all of those constituent parts, well, you don't win the championship.
Right. And you have to have a front office that doesn't have hands in everything. Like, a lot of people don't know that. But front offices, they decide who plays sometimes. And it's like, whoa, we're going to lose. Like, can we just champion? Like, and I love San Diego. That was, if you asked me who I'd be remembered as, it would be as a Charger, because that was my favorite years. I was around everything. Like, that's what I would want to be. But there was also, like, it was tough sometimes to really try to win a championship. It just was like, we had the talent. We had the talent there.
Oh yeah.
It's just, there were moving parts in some other places where it's like, hey, like, we're not going to be able to win. And that's what was tough for me, is, like, in New England, like, I didn't want to bring New England to San Diego, but there's, like, certain parts that you have to have. Yes. And if you don't have those, you're not going to win a championship. If you don't have ability and trust and all of that, going to win. If you don't have in New England office and the head coach, he is the front office. Like the people in the front office, if you're working together, you're not going to win. Whereas like Bill, he didn't care. Like he cut, I don't know how many second and third round guys in year 2 because he's like, you suck. Like and the thing is, he's not afraid to say he messed up. He's like, yeah, I really screwed that one up. But
it's true.
But he does it. Whereas a lot of people have the front office and they're like, well, we can't say it was my fault. Well, guess what? If it was your fault and we win a championship, the owner doesn't freaking care. It just doesn't care.
That's the truth.
You win the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter. And I thought the thing that's crazy too, though, is some of the best coaches I was around were in San Diego too.
Yeah.
You know, like we had a lot of great coaches. It's just, there's too many moving parts. The culture wasn't set.
And that's one thing too. I mean, I talk to our buddy Jarrett Johnson all the time, and you were a Raven for a period of time. And that's one of those things. It's like they draft guys who are Ravens. It's like they know what it means to be a Raven. You know what kind of guy you're getting when you draft a Patriot. Do they do they know what a Charger is? And then the other thing too that I think super underrated when you're talking about winning championships is just simply financial wherewithal, right? It's when you think about the Patriots and their 2 737s with their logo on the side and being able to go, hey, we're cutting a second or third rounder. We messed up. And by the way, out the door walks 800,000 and in the door walks another 800,000. I'll cut the check for that. We're all good, right? Or, hey, we're done with Logan Mankins at the end of his Hall of Fame career. Hey, we're done with Richard Seymour at the end of his Hall of Fame career. It's like, okay, we've had enough of that. We're moving on. And they're so unabashed about just being able to make cutthroat moves for the sake of winning the championship.
Saying, they cut the check. They'll cut the check for the 800,000 out, 800,000 in.
Exactly right. Yeah. And I am here. Yeah. Sorry, buddy. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, you have to have the financial wherewithal to have a nutritionist, to have plenty of people on staff. So your offensive line coach isn't doing 3 people's job, right? So everyone gets a break and gets to handle just their area of specialty and not everything else. So I think, when people are like, well, they've got 53 men on a roster and they've got 53 men on a roster and they've got 9 coaches and they've got 9 coaches. Like, no, it's not apples to apples. All right. Before we get too much on a tangent.
Yeah.
Who is your greatest influence or mentor?
As far as like someone in the league, you're saying?
Anybody.
I would say, as far as like as a human being, it would have to be my dad because of the type of man he was. He's a leader of our family, and he was a PE teacher and a coach, and he always made sure to let the least feel the most important. His best friends were the custodians, and that was maybe the most impactful thing that I've ever seen as far as another individual, is that he treated the custodians, which most people will be like, that's a crap job, like that's what people would think. And my dad said, no. That's not how they're going to be treated like they're the freaking CEO. They're going to be principal of the school. And that was so he would definitely be the most influential or my mentor. As far as football, I would say Leon Washington for the New York Jets. The way he worked and the way he took care of his body, that was huge for me because I didn't understand that you had to take care of your body. And he amazing job of didn't say anything to me. I just watched him.
Right.
And so Leon probably doesn't even know that. But Leon was probably the most influential as far as to be a professional.
Do you have any regrets about your career?
No regrets at all. None. Do I wish I was Super Bowl? Sure. But like, I mean, as you know, Nick, like how much is that going to change my life now?
Exactly.
No. It's not. Right. Is it going to make Is it going to make me love kids more? Is it going to make me love my wife more? No. Is it going to make me treat Joey, the neighbor, any differently? I hope not, because then my character as a man, or the integrity that I want to be seen as, like, it wouldn't be real, you know? And so I want people to know Danny for Danny, not the ball player. The records, like, people say, oh yeah, maybe someone might break your record. And it's like, don't care.
Good for them.
Good. Like, can they give me a high five? Cause that'd be fun. But like, I don't care that I was a record holder of that or the other, or that I played for 10 years. More than anything, I'm glad I played for 10 years, because it was a sick experience, because it was us to, you know, take care of our families.
Exactly. How hard was leaving the game for you?
It's crazy, but it was super, super easy.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people struggle, kind of. Not a ton of people know this, but I was praying I was going to get released, or
Really?
or that I was asked to restructure, because I had that hamstring injury. Didn't know if I could go on. But more importantly, I knew it was time. I was praying about it, and I felt like God said, you're done. And I was like, okay, well, I'm under contract. I'm going to have to pay my signing bonus back if I have to do that. So would you release me? It took 2 months of prayer, but they released me because they tried to restructure. I said, no, go unless you, and I had a number in mind, unless you guarantee this much money, then I'm not restructuring. So you release me then. And then I had this time where I was like, I'm going to be released. Now I want to pay them back, because, you know, that's what we do.
Yeah.
But then 2 nights later, I'm like, for this contract offer from them, or like, what do we do? And I felt like God say, homie, didn't you like pray to be done? And I was like, oh yeah. I was like, that's wanted. So I knew I was done. Probably that I was able to walk away from it instead of be told you couldn't play anymore. I'm sure it probably helped a little.
Sure.
But I don't miss it. I miss getting hit. I love watching football, but I don't miss that part of it.
I'm totally with you. What has helped you continue to find happiness in life after ball?
I mean, I think the fact that we also have a purpose in life, man. Like, football was just football. Like,
Yeah.
I could be doing my podcast. I could be doing, you know, the company, our company Performance Mountain, but you still have a purpose. Like, what I want to be seen as. Now, I don't do it well all the time, but in the Bible it talks about loving God and then loving. So it's like, maybe I should try that. You know, maybe I should just try loving people. I mean, you know, I have a strong faith, and, you know, I love God, but he also said, like, love people. So that's just, you have a purpose to treat people right. Are there plenty of people that be like, man, Woodhead's a jerk? Yeah, I've definitely been a jerk before. Like, I'm not saying I haven't, but my goal is to love people. It looks differently each person. Some people, it's me making fun of them and then going back in and telling them I care about them. Because if I care, like, if I love you, I'm probably making fun of you at some point.
Totally,
I'm probably going to joke around. And so that's what I'm trying to do, man. Like, anytime I go golfing, anytime I, or just around other people, I want to bring life to them instead of bring them down. I want to bring, you know, that joy, because that's just loving them and trying to uplift them. So that's my, like, purpose right now. Is obviously I want to do with the pod or whatever in the company, but my life's been that.
Tell me about Performance Mountain.
So Performance Mountain, basically what we do is, you know, on the, what everyone would say is like, oh, they're consultants. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of ish what we are. But what we do is we try to help people reach their peak, whether it's in sports, business or just individuals. And what do we focus on? We focus on leadership, team dynamics, if it's a business or a sport team, and then like elite level mindset. So we go in on, but like what we've done so Creighton was our team this year. We've done stuff with businesses too. That's usually like a day seminar.
Right.
But with like a sport team, when you interview everyone before the season even starts, and you interview every single person, and what we do is we look for different themes. That's like, well, that's why they're struggling, or this is an issue. Not that there's issues at Creighton, but it's just like you look for themes that could be tripping teams up, because some people, boosters, would be like, well, head coach, they know that? No. They're doing schemes. They're trying to get the skill set. They're trying to recruit. There's all these different things. So the team dynamics or the leadership, helping kids be leaders, that's not getting touched, because when's the time for that?
Right.
And so what we do is,
and the coaches aren't necessarily even capable.
No. And that's the thing. And so like a lot of teams are doing like that now, having people come in. And what we do is we do this passion thing called talking and communicating. And we communicate face to face, where some people want to be like, oh, you just got to do this, you got to do that. No, that's not how life works. Like human beings talk, they communicate.
Yeah. And
sometimes communication can hinder things if it's terrible communication. Well, if you have healthy communication and you have standards and you have goals, you have different things that are in line, then you can reach your peak. Whether worked with them with elite level mindset with some of the guys, we've worked with leadership with like some of the top guys. We team dynamics kind of with everyone, just kind of like, hey, this is a healthy way to do things. This is super unhealthy, like if you do it this way. And so what we do is we go in, we evaluate them, get themes, and then we just give our suggestions. Coaches can say yay or nay. Most of the time, if a coach is already wanting to be in there, he's going to take some of the, you can't use all of the suggestions, but then we help them implement them. And then as the year goes on, you just continue to grow with it. And by the end of the season, we were able to see Creighton play at highest level. They won the Big East championship, ranked 7th in the nation. Was that because of us? No, we're just a small part of it. I mean, you have to have talent. Like, I'm not an idiot, right? If they didn't have the talent, they wouldn't do it. We're like, what we try to say is we're just like a small piece of the pie, and we want people to reach their peak. It's funny. Sorry, I'm long-winded here. But,
you're good.
But what I looked at after the NFL, being in different organizations, different cultures around different teammates, so different work ethics, skill sets, all of the above, I was just kind of tired of like seeing businesses, like not businesses in the NFL's it's business, but teams. So I understood that businesses do this too, and kind of seeing the real world, you're like, oh my gosh, that's how they function. It's like, no wonder they suck. Like, it's like, they're making $1 million. They could make like 20 if they just had like, not even like what I have, but just like, if you just had any sort of like communication, any sort of culture set, like you could actually be good. And I don't want people to suck. Like I'm tired of seeing people falter. I've faltered in different things in different businesses, and it's like I've learned, and it's like I don't want to see people be trash if they don't have to be trash.
Yeah. Reach your potential. I think that's all of our goal is just reach your potential, whatever that level of potential is, get to that.
Right. And like, so another term is kind of, we like to use too, is like just maxing out. I want to max out my potential. Mm-hmm. Well, in order for me, Nick, to max out my 10 years, it wasn't Danny Woodhead just being, I'm a savage, right? It was
exactly.
I had coaches that helped me. I had Ollie Wilson at San Diego who just said, hey, be you. And I was like, cool. I can be me. I can go out there and just try to get open and try to, even if it looks ugly, even if my pass protection looks ugly on a play, if I do my job, it still counts. I was like, Nice. Well, that, like, I was a pretty good player before I got there, but I felt like it moved it up. So what's that doing? Well, I'm maxing my potential. If I didn't have certain strength and conditioning coaches, am I going to be able to reach that potential? No. So everyone needs people, like a team around them, to max out your potential. There's a lot of people that don't do that, and they leave lots and lots, in our profession, lots and lots of money on the table because they just didn't want to reach. They didn't do what it took to max out. Well, that's what we try to do, is we just try to max you out, because it's way cool when you see someone start like where they're at and they're a really good player. But then when you like help them max out or get it close and they're growing, and you're never like max out, hopefully once you're done, because you can always grow. But there's nothing better than seeing a kid like flourish and become like way better than like I thought he was, or maybe other people thought he was. And you're like,
or even that he thought he was, or she thought she was. Yeah,
exactly. And that's the most amazing thing. And it's another way too. Like, bro, I love ball. Like, I could still, like, even before we were kind of talking about some stuff, I could talk about ball all day,
all the time.
I don't want those hours. So
exactly
what this is giving the opportunity is to enjoy retirement, but also coach, and because that's what I'm doing. I'm coaching and teaching, and what is it off of? Well, it's off of experiences, because there's a lot of people that are those so-called consultants, and they just tell them what to do. And it's like, well, what are you coaching off of? Oh, well, in this book it said this, and I've heard about this. So yeah, that's what it is. No, that's not what it is. It's off of experience. Because like, what are you going to believe? 20-year Navy SEAL who has been through it all and has experienced leadership, experienced team dynamics, experienced elite level mindset, and not even saying, or are you going to believe like even my experiences? That's what sells, is your experiences, because it's like, oh, that's real life. It happened. Because if it didn't happen, I don't know if you're like this, but if someone comes up and tries to tell me to do something and they've never done it, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
and how am I going to buy into that? Yeah.
Right. You know what was very important to me, an angle route? When LT came to New York and explained how he ran an angle route. You know why? He knew he had experiences, and he was really at it. So that's what we do, man. I mean, it was long-winded, but like, we just want people to be like really good, and we want them to be the best they can be.
All right. A behavior or habit daily that's improved your life.
Behavior or habit daily. I could obviously go the faith route and, just being in prayer and stuff.
Yeah.
But since people know that about me, I'll go just working out. I'm doing Peloton because and I love it. I think definitely this made it crazy, but improved my days is waking up and drinking like 12 ounces of water right away. It sounds
simple.
Nuts.
I do it every
But I'm
day.
just saying, like, stuff like that even improves. I know that's a small little scale, but like, that's something that I'm like, man, that's helped me out a lot.
It's a little win. It's a healthy habit. It's a healthy habit to start your day. All right. Last one, Danny. If you had a motto, what would it be?
I mean, it's super, I don't never give up, because like everyone says that. But a good one is to be, I think, just don't listen to people like critics, like just don't listen to the negativity, because I mean, you can listen to it, let it go out the other ear. If you want to use it as motivation, cool. But if I were to listen to people, I would never have played 10 years. I wouldn't have played 1 year.
Right.
Even
when the New York Jets and their coach and their front office said, "Hey, got to live your dream." Wasn't that cool?
I wanted to punch them in the throat, bro. I didn't want to kill them, because that would be incorrect.
Right.
But I wanted to Mortal Kombat style punch them without like a weapon. You know,
That would have
just
been
more.
fun.
But yeah, like more so like take my hand like this and matrix jump and reach out and hit them right here and have them hit the back of their head. Nothing temples. Didn't want that. But I wanted them to feel it, you know?
Yeah.
So
Oh.
let's be honest. I probably had those guys a little bit in my mind the rest of my career.
That is so good, Danny. Hey, we appreciate you, buddy. Where can people follow you, and where can they follow Performance Mountain?
At Team Woody 39 for Instagram, Twitter, Danny2_Woodhead. I know that seems odd, but
Okay.
that's what it is. PerformanceMountain.com. If you have any questions about Performance Mountain, what we do, if you have questions, send us an email, and it's like info@performancemountain.com. It's on there. And then check out the pod. It's obnoxious. It doesn't make sense a lot. It's a lot of fun stories.
Stop. You guys are great.
But it's called Out of Nowhere.
Matt,
we have fun.
You and Matt do a great job with it.
Hey, we try our best. I'm not Paul's interviewer, but I am polished at laughing at your jokes and stuff like that.
Dude, you do a great job. Danny, greatly appreciate you, buddy. Thank you for all the insight, for the lessons. You're the best.
Hey, thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, gang, that's all we've got for this episode of the Finding Center podcast. I hope you enjoyed listening to it as much as I enjoyed doing it. One thing that would really help both of us and other potential new listeners is for you to rate this show and leave a comment in iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeart, or wherever you listen. Also, make sure to link up with us on social media. I'm at Finding Center Podcast and at Nick Hardwick. And be sure to do this, at hardwick.life for great health information, recipes, and healthy lifestyle tips. And please share this podcast with anyone who you think might enjoy. I like to send specific episodes to people that I keep in mind while doing the podcast. Maybe you could do the same thing while you're listening. Thanks again, guys. Until next time, here's all the health to you.